What is up, Earthlings? Zube here. I'm going to do a random reading for someone. If you're interested in a personal reading, astrology, or tarot, you can find my information down below. So this is a general reading. It may or may not apply to you. Usually you'll feel it right away. If it does. If there are any like personal things that come through, that's significant as well. Whenever I'm doing these, I feel like people like, all right, I'm just going to share an example because it happened to me today, but I was watching a pick a card. And I just like to watch those because I like to see how other readers read and stuff. And the pick a card I was listening to was pretty applicable actually. And then all of a sudden, this girl pulled out of like a random deck, and it was the ball pit card. I don't know, whatever they were, maybe like 90s or 80s cards, but it was a ball pit. And then at the same time, my friend Rosalinda, who might even swing by her at some point, sent me a meme with like a ball pit. And there's a story about when my brother and I were little that had to do with a ball pit. So when I say that, like messages that are personal, you know, if you see an animal or a number or whatever that is like significant to you, that means something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about, I guess, since my brother died and everything, and kind of talking to family and stuff about hearing from him, right? Or like getting signs or whatever. It's not like a fucking voice booming from the sky, you know, or like a ghost doesn't appear in front of you and just start talking. It's little signs that you would be inclined to write off, right? Numbers or just things that were significant to you and them. It's simple stuff, like, which I guess that's kind of like faith or whatever, just believing in magic. But the funny thing is, once you believe in magic, then the magic keeps happening over and over again. And then it gets to a point where you'll see like 3 signs in a row and you're like, yo, dude, I see you. It doesn't mean I really see you. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. Maybe somebody needed to hear it. But I'm going to do a quick little general reading. And if you see a message that speaks solely to you that I don't even talk about, whether it's something in the cards, then fucking good for you, dude. Deep breath. All right, let's see. Two of Pentacles. The first thing that jumped out at me when I saw this is kind of like juggling 3D, 5D. Two of Pentacles. Pentacles are Earth. This is juggling, right? Juggling life shit. So it could literally be like juggling work and home life balance, juggling relationship and work, anything. You could be juggling 2 things. You might be juggling a baby. But yeah, that thing, we're chucking stuff up in the air, trying to keep everything going. Oh shit. The Page of Swords. This is the crossing card. This chair doesn't roll. So this is the crossing card. This is what's getting in the way. So the Page of Swords, here's what I love about this one is It can be gossip. Swords are air energy. So that's mentality, communication, our words. The page is childlike, right? There's the page knight, queen, king. Well, the page represents the child. So it can be petty, somebody petty. It's like we're trying to juggle all this stuff and there's petty words going around. It could also be innocence, right? Like the pages, because they are children, are more innocent, like being told that you're ugly by a little kid is way different and more innocent than being told you're ugly by an adult, or so there could also be trying to come back to our innocence here, not being like he's curious about that bubble, being curious, knowing we don't know everything. Maybe we're being know-it-alls. And the swords are kind of a difficult suit, right? Because the mind is like our toughest like aspect in life. But the page of swords of all of the court cards can actually be like a new idea, a new way of thinking. Like sometimes I think that the court cards of the swords, the king and the queen and the knight, can be kind of harsh and cold, right? But the page of swords is like innocent. It's lighter, right? It's one of the lighter sword cards. All right, so we're gonna do, this is what is below the surface, what is unknown. The Wheel of Fortune. And okay, interesting. So we're up here juggling. We're juggling these two pentacles. Underneath, the Wheel of Fortune is just turning. The Wheel of Fortune is about things turning. Sometimes it can mean your luck is changing, but it's the wheel of fate going around. So we have these things that we're trying to keep up in the air, that we're trying to keep going. And what's under the surface, what is unknown, are just the things that are going to happen by fate or chance or whatever, or by the like grand design of the universe. And maybe we're forgetting that because she is trying to keep these up in the air. So we might be like trying to be in control, this page of swords just feels lighter, and it's the crossing card. So it's what's blocking or in the way or in front of us. What is he doing? I can't find any of my readers in Texas. He has a shell, a stick. Anyway, okay. So what's in the recent past? All right. In the recent past, two came out. We have the Three of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is fulfillment and happiness, right? And that's in the recent past. So, and then the Three of Wands is expansion and growth. So what we are coming from a place where maybe we had something granted or a wish fulfilled, or we've felt fulfilled, and yet we're still growing. The Three of Wands, there are ships back here that are coming in, right? So the Three of Wands is where we sometimes have to stand and wait because we can't move any closer to what it is that we want. We've got to wait for it to get to us. Like he can't get any closer to the ships. He has to wait for the ships to come. So we have some kind of fulfillment in the past, and maybe we're trying to keep that going. Oh gosh. So we're trying to keep that going. We're trying to get, because, all right. So there's something here about like impermanence, right? Like maybe we are trying to keep a situation going, or keep things the way they've always been, or the way that we had them, or the way that we wanted them. The Three of Cups, what is known? Three of Cups is celebration. Yeah. So it's almost like in this reading, we're all right, but the three, it can also be supportive relationships or supportive friendships. I don't use the astrology, the tarot as predictive or anything like that, but it's almost like there may be a shift, which there's always going to be a shift because the wheel is turning, and maybe we're anxious about that. Maybe we have fear of the future. And the crossing card, yes, the crossing card being the Page of Swords is the reminder from spirit to be curious about the future. And with these cards, I mean, the 10 of Cups is usually really good, but it doesn't mean that everything has been fucking amazing, right? That just happened, but like maybe you kind of feel like you had stuff sorted out. And there's like there's a little bit of a fear that whatever we've sorted out is going to tumble again. Like what we, and this is over the past couple of years, we've all been in chaos, right? So maybe we're just kind of like, when is this cycle going to end? And it never does. Never does. Let's see what the future holds. The rest of the cards. The Emperor. So we're moving into the future, and the Emperor is like the boss card. Look, he's holding up, that's either a compass or like a clock. But the Emperor is about like being the boss of yourself, like being in charge, being stronger. Maybe there's a new direction that we need to move in, even if the direction is moving into ownership of your own personal power, right? You might not be doing like different shit, but you might be differently approaching it, because this is the swords are about the mind. So we might be walking into our own personal power. That's the future. I always do these over like a 6-month sort of time period, where past 3 months, upcoming 3 months. Oh, wow. And so this would be like 3 months into the future. The next card is the immediate future, like what is in the immediate. And we have the High Priestess. There's something we feel out of control. That's what this is about. The divine has got it. We don't know everything. The only place that you can go is within. That's what the High Priestess represents. She's the goddess, right? So she represents going within, to get right with ourselves, to get right and prepared for whatever it is that is coming our way, instead of fearful about it. This is how others view you. Temperance, balancing. 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water. That is nourishing our spiritual and emotional life as well as our earthly life. It's being emotionally balanced. The angel is pouring the water from one cup into the other. So there's a need for balance here. Other people view you as that, right? So maybe you have these 2 cards about balance. Maybe you really are, you may be doing all right with the balancing thing, and other people view you that way, as emotionally balanced. So make sure that you continue to nourish yourself spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Other people may be coming to you for help or guidance. Oh, yikes. Hopes and fears. Three of Swords. That's heartbreak. Yeah, I mean, she's holding a heart and there are three swords. That's heartbreak and healing. So we're afraid of having our hearts broken, of maybe losing what we've accomplished, right? Like we've done all of this growth and there's always more growth, but maybe we feel an impending change. You know, the 10 of Cups is in the recent past, and the 10s are a completion, accomplishment energy. It's like the coming to the conclusion. And underneath, like the unknown or what's in our subconscious is that the wheel is always turning. So whenever we accomplish something, we go back to a new beginning, right? But we are afraid of getting hurt. Basically. This is like the final card. It's called the outcome card, but it's not any more significant than any of the others. The Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is self-care. Taking care of yourself. And that I had mentioned in this Temperance card, right? So, you know, maybe if others are looking to you, and I say this because it's how others view you and it's an angel, like make sure that your cup is filled and that you have plenty. Take care of you. And that is so that when you move into the future, you can be this empowered emperor. We don't want to deplete ourselves. This might be a reading for me. I'll just share it with you. Here we have what is known, the Three of Cups. Nourish friendships, hang out with friends where you fill each other up, right? Be around people that nourish you as well as you nourishing them. And I always say about the Nine of Pentacles, I think this is an earth energy. So this is really taking care of yourself physically, right? And knowing your own worth also. It's not just like a go take a bubble bath card. This is really making sure that you are taken care of and provided for. You know, I was thinking about something. So a few months ago, I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, I'm so tired. Like you know, and I feel guilty, but I'm kind of staying at home and hermiting right now. And I don't understand why. And so I'm like, you know, forcing myself a little bit to go out and do things, or I'm feeling really guilty if I don't go out and you know, spend time with other people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, not long after that, my brother died. And I, you know, went back to New Jersey and I stayed with my family, and it was just very, very busy. And when I spoke with her, she brought it up and she said, remember when you said you didn't understand why you were so tired or why you kind of wanted to hermit, and you felt guilty about it? And I was like, yeah, because I actually had thought about that. It's like, if you have an instinct or an intuition right now, but you feel guilty about it, I'm looking at these cards. Yes, like a child doesn't think, give a second thought to like getting what they want and getting their needs taken care of. You know, that's something that happens as we become adults, is when we start denying ourselves of what we need, right? So there's something here about there could be stuff upcoming that you need to be prepared and strong for. So make sure that, you know, you understand you're not in control. You keep your mind open and curious about what the future holds, and not fearful. If you're feeling fearful, that's fine. It doesn't mean to pretend you don't feel fearful, right? Write about it. Or, you know, I like to do an exercise called what's the worst case scenario? And I know that's not a fun game for a lot of people, but I happen to like it because a lot of times when I take myself to the worst case scenario, I'm like, what would happen? I would fucking get by. Like I would figure it out. You know what I mean? I understand that like I've been in some pretty complex situations. That means I'm not scared of all that much, you know? But who knows if that speaks to you, maybe try it, the worst case scenario game. Anyway, take care of yourself, especially physically, but spiritually. Reach out to your friends and ask for help. If you're afraid, look at those fears, talk about those fears with people around you or in writing, and know that you are guided. I mean, these two cards are fate. Like there's something's coming. Anyway, I know it's been a while, but I hope you have a great day on Earth. Oh, this is timeless. I should have said that way in the beginning, but time doesn't matter, does it? Love ya. Peace. Namaste.